Is it possible to build your own supercar without going completely broke? Can a normal blue-collar dude build something that hangs with Lamborghinis and Ferraris? And can it all be done with an engine that was pulled out of a Ford van? This is our 440 cubic inch power plant here. This is a motor that comes right out of trucks and vans. Delivered to our door is $3,500. Listen, I'm balling on a budget. I haven't quite made it on YouTube yet, so this is what we got. This is what we have to work with. But on that note, in a serious note, I really think this has everything that we need to make well over 1,000 horse. Plus it's huge cube, so it's gonna hit like an animal. So I'm pretty stoked about this. We have a lot to learn with it, so let's dive in, figure out how we're gonna make this work and how we're gonna create a supercar with a van engine. Hammer down. The whole idea is to push this whole thing over, try to squeeze the forklift in here, and try to pull the motor out from the side. Okay?
Yep, good, you're good, good.
Chamba. Oof. There you go. I know where to put this.
Do you want me to grab it? Is it hot?
No. I'm gonna go ahead and divorce our transfer case, pull this off. Golly, right in my chest. Wait. I get a little red in the face. All right, now we gotta figure out how to dance this thing out. Yeah, we're getting a little tight here, so let's figure that out. Hopefully this is enough room right here. Okay. You want to yell at me? I want to try to push it.
Yeah. Yep.
Good?
Oh my god.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh no, you're gonna hit.
Oh, we might make it.
Hey!
Whoa! First up on the docket is we're going to put our new CVF accessory drive on. This is going to be the system that drives our alternator and our power steering. All right, this is where the fun begins. We have our new CVF kit here all laid out, and I got my head wrapped around the puzzle how this thing's going to go together. We have our Type 2 power steering pump. We have all the brackets. We have all their pulleys. I went with all black to make it look a little slick. I don't want it to be too polished and too nice, you know what I mean? So we went with this rad color. We also have our 300 amp alternator. I don't know if you saw before, but we actually had, this is Holly's front drive kit. My whole plan was to actually use this. It's not meant for the CVF stuff. The CVF stuff is meant for the front cover. And I was actually gearing up to run this. It's a cool piece. I think it looks better than a stock unit, which you'll see. And I was just going to slide this off and make all the spaces work for the CVF. Make for a cool episode. Make adapt it all, you know what I mean? So this is the stock front cover. You know, it's something that Ford made. It's hideous. So my whole plan was I was actually going to make it all work for there, and I was working on it in the background for the last day how I was going to do it. Problem is this. So this is their pan that's made to go with it, and the flange is different. Now, we could have ran this if the motor was normal, but if you guys seen, the motor's actually 180 degrees in the car, so we actually need a dry sump, so I gotta cover that next too. So I can't use this because their flange pattern up here is off. It's bigger than a stock front piece. So I would be stuck with this pan. The way this mats to the front of their cover, I don't want to cut this cast piece up and make a dry sump out of this. There's too much stuff going on. We're gonna have to use our stock front cover, and I think I have an idea how to make this nice. I think I'm gonna lob all this off. Then we can machine some of it flat later on. I'm gonna get rid of anything extra that I don't need. So all this idler arm holder, this tab here, we're gonna whip this all off. I don't know if this is gonna look good. This is gonna be a little artistic project that we work on, and I think if it looks good, we'll keep it. But if not, no harm, no foul. Maybe we go ahead and design something else. Take shape. I blended most of it. So now that we have, oh, come on a second. Oh, jeez. Now that we have this all blended in, I actually really like it. So let's go ahead and put it on the cars. That's so sick. We have ourselves a much more professional looking piece. We got the rootin' tootin' front accessory drive on, and honestly, it looks epic. It looks too nice. I feel like I gotta make the rest of the engine better now. We are missing one piece. I'm missing the damper. I'm gonna have to go ahead and order that. It's gotta be an ATI piece. It's gonna adapt part that you guys will see here in the next few episodes is very special. There's gonna be something monstrous that comes up here that's never been done before. So we're gonna wait on that. So I can't put the belt on, but let's move forward to the next project and figure out how we're gonna do the oil sump. Now this is exciting. We are gonna build our own dry sump for the Godzilla. I have all the pieces that showed up, so now we are ready to fully tackle our own custom dry sump pan for this little hot rod. Now, in case you're new to the channel or you don't know what a dry sump is or know why we're putting one in the El Camino, this is the whole idea right here. Our engine in the El Camino had to get put in a really weird spot. We had to put it back here for weight distribution. We also had to spin the motor around 180 degrees. So the motor is now facing backwards. And that causes a lot of oiling issues because the oils now want to get fed to the opposite direction of the pan. Now that brings us to the next problem. How do we fix something like this? What we're going to be doing is creating a dry sump pan. We are going to physically manipulate where the oil goes, and we're going to suck it out with our siphon tubes, which are these parts right here. This is going to allow us to control where the oil goes and how it flows, and then from there we're going to separate it out to an external pump and then pressurize it back in. This motor can now be backwards, upside down. It won't matter the correlation of the pan because we're going to control how the oil flows in the bottom of it. That way it doesn't matter if the motor's upside down, wide open throttle, sideways. We always have control of where the oil goes and how it gets pressurized to the engine. And we won't have any problems by driving the motor backwards in the El Camino. Dive in, cut this flange off, and start figuring out how we're going to make this work. Here is the first part of the puzzle. My buddy Jim actually gave me one of his pans. He sells billet dry sumps for this. I have to create my own because we are on a budget constraint with this. So he was so nice to send me one of his old pans. I'm actually going to sever this off, use this flange, which is absolutely beautiful, and then we're going to recycle it. Then from there, I'm going to design our aluminum off of this, create something that looks like this, but it's be more dry sump oriented. Start wrapping our mind around where we're going to start this pan and start cutting some stuff and kind of get aligned. So I did a little bit, so I did this a little bit different. I actually just kind of found myself some plot points where I want the aluminum to sit, just drew it backwards, and I'm going to go ahead and draw this and cut a template. I thought this was easier because I had my eyes on it, I can actually see what's going on. Let's take the design, cut a template out of something cheap, place it over it, see what it looks like, and then go from there. Did some design work on the back end, and I wanted to sacrifice something to make sure that I don't waste our only aluminum we got. So I created this out of some 1/8" plate, and now I'm like, how the heck am I going to make this come together? Honestly, I've been struggle busting a little bit because here's my theory, and here's my idea. I have to put these in the right places, which I figured out. Making it all integral, making all the oil kind of go to the right places. All right, I still got some ideas bending, but let's go ahead and start working on the top piece. But I do have an idea. If I can somehow pull it off, maybe we'll triangulate a piece up here with a notch for these. Ooh, let's try that. I got myself the first part of the Puzzle here. I got a pretty cool top piece that's gonna allow these to slot in, and then I have the barriers are gonna start building a box. Hope I got my dimensions correct, because I only got one piece of aluminum here. We can start to see what this thing looks like. Let's set you up right here. I'm not too sure what happened, but I guess we didn't cut max this thing. Yeah, the speed was off, but it was all preset, so I'm gonna have to see if I can salvage this. I think I got enough to do one more attempt at this one. This is the important one. I can probably put the strips up there, but golly, what happened? I'm not sure what happened, but I bumped the feed rate up and I slowed the machine down to hopefully make sure we get to the next one. If this doesn't work, then we're gonna have to postpone this episode. I don't have any more aluminum. Is that it? Oh, yeah. Speed and speed, baby. It's got a little rough back here, but I'll have to clean it up. But golly, we lucked out with that one. We're going to do our first bend for our top plate. I got my little template over here. There we go. That's not too bad. Mess it up. Ooh. Just a little more. Boom. There's one. Little tallywhack. So that tallywhack was enough. Nope. We need one more tallywhack. A little tidbit. Bang. Chamo. Before we cut our final piece, I'm gonna figure out where exactly on the main plate it's gonna go, where our box is gonna stay, but I wanna see what, we have a little trough that's gonna get welded to our pan. I'll put a little tube McGee's over here. Gonna be sucking out of the trough over here. Golly. It looks like we know what we're doing. I just have to now create this bottom plate, open up the box internally, which we'll cut on the plasma, and I give myself enough room. And I have all the spatial areas where I have to add to this back plate. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish designing it. We're gonna cut it. Hopefully that plasma works and we can get this plate out of it, and then we're close. We have it. I did the final design. It is ready to rock. I have barely enough room on our last plate of aluminum, and it's a Saturday, so finish this. We can actually put the pan together. If this somehow messes up, then I am in Schitt's Creek. Here we go. I gotta start buying more material, I'll tell you that. I gotta start buying just a little bit more material and start cutting it so close. Let's get a little in there, let's get the camera all in there. Oh, plasma's not on. Oh, by the skin of our teeth. Now let's see if it fits. So, this is gonna fit. Oh, golly. That goes on top of here. Oh, we gotta do a little trim. We got plenty of welds. Tell you what, I was never good at puzzles when I was a kid, but now that I'm getting older and I've got my ADHD all set, we are starting to figure the process out. Now we just gotta weld it without messing it up. Just gonna take my time, gotta put some good tunes on. Let's get after it. All right, my friends, it's finish line time. I'm gonna go ahead and just check every single area where I have to weld with this brush. I'm gonna clean it, acetone it. We're gonna check it. And then we're gonna put it on the table and tack it like a shoelace. And think about this. This is very thin wall stuff. It even makes me nervous. So what I'm gonna do is clamp it, twist it, tighten it, and go. I'm gonna go kind of an X pattern and tighten this thing up. Semi-finished pan. There's some trimming on the inside that I gotta do. We're gonna put it on to make sure nothing warped. Bolt it and see what it's like. Oh, that's a good sign. A couple spots that I gotta go and kind of dolly up. Other than that, I think we're almost home. Now the cool thing about this is we just built the dry sump for like almost nobody. Fittings are Moroso are super cheap. The flange I lucked out. That would be one thing I would have to pay for. Luckily Jim came through and saved the day for that one. So let's say 300 bucks to make a flange. So we're in this thing for $60 worth of material and my time and gas. So it's not too shabs. Now is it gonna bolt in? There's all this effort. And can we find the right bolts? There it goes, so far so good. What I'm worried about is I had to weld a lot, so I could have actually still warped it. There's no gap here. There's a gap, we good? Oh, let's do it by hand now. Oh, that feels good. Oh. We did it. We now have ourselves a dry sump pan. There's a couple areas that I'm gonna go back over and make it look smoother. Let's see what it looks like upside down. Godzilla, baby! Look at that! How sick does that look? Can you see it over here? Dry sumping. We're dry sumping. Oh, that is cool. Wish I could machine it and make it all perfect, but mechanically, We're there. This is my camera lady.
Dry sumping.
Dry sumping. So if you guys like what we're doing, tune in and subscribe. I'm gonna put the finishing works on this, and then I'm gonna clip the shop. We're gonna get ready. I'm gonna show you this. Next episode, we are gonna fully finish our pushrod suspension with our new coilover shocks. So we're gonna dive in, finish that off, get this thing on its coilovers and hammer on down. So yeah, if you guys like what I'm doing, tune in, subscribe. I'm gonna go take a nap. I'm cooked. Toodaloo.